I am Shivam Kumar Sharma, along with Amisha Thakur. We are secretaries at Communiqué and will be your host for today's event.
So, good evening, everyone. Let's begin with the event. Today, we have with us a great set of panelists who have excelled in their domain and are present here to provide us with plenty of insights on how to prepare for a consulting profile. First, we have Mr. Aditya Pandey, who has secured a placement at Bain and Company. I would request you to please provide us an introduction of yourself.
Sure. So hi everyone, my name is Aditya. I graduated from IIT Kharagpur last year. I mean this year, with a major in chemical engineering, and then right now I've joined at Bain and Company. I think I've been here for a month now. Right. That's it.
Thank you, Aditya. Next, we have Mr. Tushar Patle, who has also grabbed a placement at Bain and Company. I would request you to please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my introduction is almost same as Aditya. So I'll just say my name, Tushar Patle. And I've also joined Bain 1 month ago. And before this, I interned at HUL.
Thank you, Tushar. Next, we have Miss Eknoor Malhotra, who got placed at McKinsey and Company. I would request you to please give us a brief introduction.
Hi, Amisha. Hello, everyone. My name has been said, Eknoor Malhotra. Will be graduating this year. I was a dual degree student from the Department of Civil Engineering, and my hall was SNIG.
Thank you all for such a pleasant introduction. Audience, if you have any doubts in the middle of the session, please feel free to post them in the chat box. Here we go with some general questions regarding consulting profiles. The first one, skills are the backbone of any job we do. So what skills and experiences are needed to apply for a consulting profile? Aditya, would you like to go first?
Sure. So let me start from experiences first. There isn't any specific experience that you need. So what consulting companies generally look for is they want to see if you can excel in anything you do. So it can be anything. You can excel in sports. You can excel in any work you're doing, any project work, or any POR work, great internship that you have done. So in terms of experience, it's not a specific sector or any specific company that you have to target. You just have to do good in whatever you're doing. When it comes to campus experiences, with respect to internships, I think internships with big firms do value. Day one firms, FMCGs, finance firms, So any big firm. So I think the idea behind this is if they see, let's say, if a firm like Goldman Sachs or Unilever has hired you for an internship. So that means they saw something in you. So they apply the same principle, and then you have a higher chance of getting a consulting shortlist as well. And in terms of skills, there's a diverse set of skills. I can just list them down like the leadership skills and all. But all of these skills are showed through your own experience and work. So I mean, the primary focus should be, I guess, to excel in whatever you're doing, I guess. Yeah.
That was very insightful. Tushar, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so basically, as Aditya rightly said, experience is basically what they're looking for is excellent individuals who have shown their grit and their excellence in some or the other field. It can be a good internship, it can be a combination of a good internship, a FT, some great POR, some great research work wherein you had publications along with other skills as well, right? And then as far as the skills are concerned, I'll segregate those skills into two sections. First one is the soft skills, and the second one is the hard skills. So soft skills, you have skills like leadership skills, you have skills like taking ownership, you have skills like there's for say structured thinking, that is which is very important one. Then you have hard skills, which is like not so important but also important, is it's basically which will help you crack the interview, that is case solving skill, specifically your frameworks, having everything at the back of your mind. And then you have things like you have other, let's say, frameworks, and then you have business acumen, which will help you a lot, like if you have that during your interview. So yeah.
That was very insightful. Eknoor, would you like to add something more?
I think Aditya and Tushar pretty much covered everything. So, in experiences and skills, I can't point out what exactly. The entire purpose is for these top companies to choose candidates who can acquire skills on the way, and who can imbibe various skills quickly. So basically, you could be good at anything, you just have to be in the top percentile of it. So if you have a profile full of research work, then it should be top research work with the top institutes. If you have a corporate profile, you must have internships with the biggest of the MNCs, right? It could even be something as eccentric as you being a really good classical dancer and having a national level certificate or a competition in your CV. So as such, they look for excellent people doing the best in whatever they're doing, right? And in terms of skills, I think Tushar put it very well. Certain set of soft and hard skills. Basically, anything that is client friendly. At the end of the day, you are serving clients, and in terms of soft skills, how you put together your thoughts and how you put it in front of the person in front of you. It's very essential. And in terms of hard skills, problem solving skills. So yeah, communication and problem solving are the two top skills, and anything else can be built on the way. Um, Also, Shivam, since we have limited time, I hope you don't mind if just the panelists take over the questions, and you can pitch in at the end if there are any additional questions. Um, so, is it all right if we navigate through the presentation ourselves?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we'll just go ahead. How to prepare for this profile and resources needed. What say, guys? Aditya, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, so I'll just come, I'll give you a very generic plan which almost all of us follow. So, in case of us, these firms used to come in October, so we used to start a month before in July. But for you guys and from the year onwards, it will be coming in day one, all the firms. So I think starting in November might be slightly risky because there'll be other profiles you have to prepare as well. So I would suggest, first of all, keep it October or mid-October as your starting date. So now how we go about with this is, first of all, you have to make a case group of 3 to 4 people. Just ensure that, everyone in your case group is equally motivated so that, you know, uh, nobody leaves in between. You should also have to make sure that the group that you have, uh, everyone has a good chance of getting a shortlist. Because what happens is, if someone in the group doesn't get a shortlist, or maybe multiple people in the group doesn't get a shortlist, the motivation or the morale of the group drops significantly. So, while forming a group, these are the two main things you can keep in mind. What was that? Resources needed, right? So typically, you always start with the CIC videos which are there on YouTube. I mean, there are 4 videos, 1 hour each. It starts with an introduction, then moves on to guesstimate, profitability, and then market entry. I think they are very good for a starting point. And there's also Victor Chang. Victor Chang has, I think, 12 videos with 8 minutes each something. Not necessary to view all of them. You can view the first few to get an essence on how the case interviews and what the interviews expected. So both of them are very good. You should I would always recommend to view them before starting your preparation. In terms of books, after you've done with the videos, you can jump to your CIC day one, and then to CIC is IIT Bombay, then day one is IIT Madras. These two are the most critical books. I think if you're done with them, there's also CIC Extended. So CIC Extended is CIC is two different versions. One is a PDF version, which is a free version, and then they have the physical book. So those questions you can find in the drive link. There's a consulting drive link. If you don't have it, you can just ping any of us and we'll share it with you. So I think these two books are the most critical. Once you've done with them, there's IMA case book. There's one of I think case compendium. I think it's of SRCC or someone. That's also a very good
Yeah.
book. So basis that you can do these books. Any other resources? So I have two more resources actually. There's also HR questions. So you have a set of HR questions in the consulting driving itself. I found a very useful website called igotanoffer.com something. So they have properly segmented. Yeah, Rashri, we'll provide the drive link at the end of the session. So I got an offer.com. They very well list down all the HR questions in the top three firms: McKinsey, BCG, Bain. And apart from that, I think there's also a website called Case Interview Math by Victor Cheng.
Mm.
There also you can practice your calculations. That's also very helpful. I think if you make mistakes during estimates, that's very helpful. So Tushar and Eknoor, if you want to add something.
That was a
Yeah,
huge list. You
I'll just
almost covered
stress.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just stress on one point. So I'll suggest you now to go through the Victor Cheng videos once so that you get a essence of what consulting is. Once you understand what consulting is, what the interviewer is looking for in the interview, then you can really prepare very well, accordingly. So go through those videos, get a essence of what consulting is. You can go through other resources as well to get a feel of who exactly is a consultant, what skills does he should have, and what are the interviewers looking at in the interviews, and then prepare accordingly. Yeah, so that's all like that I would like to add.
Awesome. To sum it all, so as Aditya and Tushar said, start off with Victor Cheng videos to get an essence. Victor Cheng videos will not teach you how to solve cases, they will give you a basic premise, right? Then probably you could move on to guesstimates, right? For guesstimates, the top resource would be Guesstimates Compendium, and then the other resources would be books by Communiqué itself, right? Then you could move on to certain case books already covered by Aditya. Those are the top ones. One additional casebook I would like to mention is the Wharton casebook, specifically for if you're preparing for McKinsey and Company. So that is an important book. Then and to get a gist of how to solve a guesstimate, how to solve a profitability case or a market entry case. And for the uninitiated, these are the top three types of cases that you will get in your interviews. You can go through the CIC videos. CIC, that is Case Interviews Cracked IIT Bombay, has their own YouTube page. But this has a catch because the cases covered in their videos are the cases in the books itself. So if you're watching the video, you're essentially wasting that case. So try not to do that. One more YouTube channel I'd like to mention is the M Consulting Prep. It's a YouTube channel. You can also refer to this one. And do check out Victor Cheng website. As Aditya mentioned, it has a math tool. Apart from that, it has other resources as well. This is pretty much the entire repository of resources. Hopefully, Communiqué will share the drive with you. All right, moving on to the next question.
Just
How?
to add one more thing with the roadmap. Yeah,
Sure, sure.
Yeah, Aditya.
yeah. Okay, if you can hear me. So with respect to roadmap now, whatever we covered until now, this was your initial preparation. So preparation slightly changes once you get shortlisted. You have your buddy cases. So once you have your buddy cases, you can also you can get cases from your buddy and then exchange cases between all the different shortlisted candidates. And then once you're properly done with these books, properly prepared, then you should also ping your own seniors and try to do cases with them. So towards the end, this is also an important thing you should do. Yeah.
Awesome. How should one prepare a CV and how crucial it is to get a placement at a dream consulting firm? Okay, I'll start with this question. I think the latter part of the
Eknoor,
question is totally, yeah.
the first, like, I need one piece of information here. Is the CV submission already done or is it going on?
It's done from what I've heard.
Yeah. So,
I think yesterday
uh,
was the deadline.
well,
so
is this even relevant
Like, did
now?
it get extended or
exactly.
not?
Communique, guys. You
Actually, it's like deadline has been passed, so still we can give. It's not relevant right now, but
okay? Cool.
From what I've heard, there's going to be a verification, and after that, the portal will open again. Is that the case?
no, no. Right now we don't have any idea about that, but still we want to give it like the Janta what how to
Cool. Cool.
prepare
We'll
this.
keep it short. Yeah. Eknoor, continue.
Okay, so getting a placement at a dream consulting firm is totally up to you. I mean, that's
Yeah. Even
I
I
mean, how do we
cannot
explain this?
understand the
You know?
question.
Exactly. How should one prepare a CV? Well, we really hope you did it well. But to just sum it all up, your CV should highlight peaks. To put it blatantly, this is the word we use in layman terms, certain peaks. So you should have minimum of 3 peaks. What is a peak? A peak is anything that sort of communicates that whatever you did, you were in the top percentile of whatever you did, right? So a peak is usually an entire section of your CV. It could be an internship. If you want to make your internship your peak, then you have to make sure you intern at a really stellar company or you intern at a really stellar university, right? Your peak could be also your extracurriculars. So at least you need 3 peaks in your CV, and then you need to communicate these peaks very clearly. So make sure these 3 peaks are put at the top half of your CV, and whatever is important goes on the top and on the left. Okay, and just make sure how you communicate your work across. That is, any sentence in your CV should have this structure, that is the impact of the work followed by how you achieved it. This is the thumb rule. This is like super important. And now, since nothing can be done, I really hope you guys did this: impact followed by how you achieved it, and stress a lot on numbers. So numbers show credibility. If you did an internship, you should communicate the impact via numbers. Guys, do you want to add anything?
Yeah. Regarding the number part, so if you're showing certain numbers, no, make sure that though you're putting in numbers that which anyone can understand. So you'll put in numbers basically. If you did an internship, you did some project and you saved like some like x amount of money for the firm, right? If it's a significant amount of money, show that. If it's something like you improved a process, so you reduce the time, so you reduced significant like amount of time, then show that. So basically show numbers that even I can understand. If you even have a data science intern, right? I won't really understand. I'm not a data science guy, so I won't. If I'm viewing your CVs, I won't really understand the technical jargons. So stay away from technical jargons and show numbers that everyone can understand.
Totally. Aditya, do you want to add anything?
No, I think Ignore and Tushar have pretty much covered it all. Yeah, I would like to just stress on that, technical jargon part, because all the CVs that I received and I saw a lot of technical jargons even when you applied for a consulting role. You have to be, you should have been aware about. Hopefully, if it reopens and if you've already done that, you can create a separate CV for consulting and techs. Other than that, slightly touching on the peak point. So, peak is, it's a very, it's not properly defined. You can have multiple medium peaks or a very good 2 3 peaks. So if even if you don't have, let's say, 5 peaks, it's not a problem. Like two very exceptional peaks, like a very high CGPA and a very good internship, gets you through. So, but since everything is done, I think we should move on to the next part of the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And for the juniors sitting here, who probably, I don't know, will be applying for internships, just want to add quickly. First of all, in fact, this is for any profile, right? Whoever is viewing your CV just has 30 seconds to view your CV, right? So don't have everything in bold, only the important parts in bold, and it should be easy to read. Second of all, please make sure there is no typos. I mean, that's a huge turn off if there is a typo in your CV in terms of dates and in terms of spellings. um, that's pretty much it. I think we should move on. um, How much weightage do these companies give to CGPA for shortlisting candidates?
Tushar, would you like to take this?
No, I'll ask Eknoor because she's from McKinsey.
I'm not actually sure about this. What is the cutoff CGPA? But usually for most of the companies, it is 8.5. And historically, we as per the historical data we have regarding the shortlists, anything above 8.5 is good. Anything above 9, and you can make it your peak.
Right. So adding to it, I think McKinsey sort of gives more importance, relatively speaking, more importance to CGPA than as compared to Bain. So you can like Bain 8+ is also okay. That is what I've understood from the like
Yeah.
recent hiring that they've done.
Yeah, so yeah, for Bain, below eight would be you have to have something very exceptional to
Yeah.
compensate for that. But yeah, 8+ is it's not a hard cutoff or anything, but
Mhm.
historically that's what has happened. So
Yeah.
you
So
you should
any company
always
would look.
target 8.5 there if you're targeting it.
Definitely. Any company would look for overall profile. So, in case
Yeah.
your other areas make up for your CGPA, good enough. Moving ahead, what is the general selection process for companies for consulting profile? So,
I
we'll
think
start
this
with
should have
Bain
been a
first.
first question.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's same for every company almost. So, we'll just start with Tushar and Aditya, and I can pitch in if there's anything.
Cool. So, there are two steps. First is getting shortlisted based on your CV, and the second is cracking the case interviews. So, case interviews are, if you don't know, are basically interviews in which you play a client and a consultant role. So you are playing the consultant's role. Your interview is playing the client's role, and you're basically there is a business situation given to you, wherein you are supposed to dig deeper, ask relevant questions, and reach to certain conclusions. Basically, they're based on what they are asking for. So if the interviewer is asking you to basically tell him, find the root causes of profitability issues, then you focus on that. If he's asking you to build on recommendations, then you focus on finding root causes and then building recommendations over it, right? So that is a typical like case interview. We might I then Ignore will, I think, elaborate more on this later. But yeah, these are the two aspects to it. So like typically what will happen is you will submit your CV. uh, People will review your CV based on your peaks and all. You'll get shortlisted. Once you get a shortlist, you will go through a buddy process, right? So basically there will be people from the organization who will be assigned as your buddies. Those buddies will help you understand the interview process. They are there to help you and understand how and help you practice cases, basically. So your case group that you form for preparation is basically with people at your level, so they don't really they might or might not know how to take good case interviews, right? So but the people actually who are your buddies are actually people from the industry, so they'll be they'll they'll take your interviews, which will actually be like emulate the actual they'll take your like buddy rounds, which will actually emulate the final interview process. After that one, like usually these are set to be non-evaluative. Buddy rounds are set to be non-evaluative, but that really depends on like company to company, and it also depends on scenario to scenario, right? So like situation, it is also sometimes situation based. Consider them to be at least your final buddy rounds that you give should be like good rounds. That is what I'll suggest. Apart from this, then after this, you'll have your final interviews that will be on day 0 or day 1, there wherein you'll have, at least 2 to 3 rounds or maybe more, but not less than two usually. So the first 1 or 2 rounds will usually be taken by some manager level, senior manager, or someone, right, at that level. And then that will be like it can be estimate, it can be profitability case, market entry, or an unconventional case. And then the final interview is usually taken by partners, people at partner level, right? So associate partners, they can be senior partners as well. So partner level, once they are convinced, a partner is convinced that you're good fit for the company, right? And you have the necessary skills to be a consultant, then you'll get the you have, like, you've done your job, you'll get the offer. Yeah. Did I sum it up? Anything to add, Aditya, Ignore?
No, no, it was super. I'll just stress on one of your
Yeah.
points. That was the two-part process. That is the CV and then the case solving. And guys, I can't stress enough how both are equally important because I've seen both kinds of people. One, a, a category of people having like stellar CVs, but absolutely no case experience. They sort of overlook this part wherein they had to solve cases and actually prep for the interviews. And the other set of people who spent hours and hours prepping for the cases, but they didn't realize that their CV wasn't strong enough, and then they never made it to the short lists, right? So please pay equal attention to both. Now that the CV part is over, there's nothing much you can do. What you can instead do is sort of prepare accordingly for the companies that align the most with your CV.
Also, like,
Ad-
I think Dalberg and all will come off campus as well, no? There are few off campus companies coming. Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I think.
Okay. So
So what I
the
have heard between McKinsey, BCG, and Bain was कि McKinsey and Bain decided they'll come on day one, and then from next year onwards, all three will be coming on day one. So I think every other firm will follow.
Okay, okay, fine, cool.
Maybe if Eknoor knows anything
So
about this.
even if some companies come off campus, then also, like, the process is almost same, but it will happen before your placements, right? So if be ready for that as well. BCG has already finished their hiring process. So Dalberg might come in near future if they come off campus, and rest all, I think, other than Dalberg, will come on campus only.
and take all of this with a pinch of salt because we went through an entirely different hiring process. Considering the
Yeah.
companies now are coming on day one, it could be totally different, as in the number of rounds, the number of people taking your interviews, the kind of people taking your interviews. So take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah. And let me touch a bit on the timelines for this. So, typically after a resume shortlist, I think you get around 10, 12 days, 10, 15 days for your interviews. So, whenever the shortlist come and your birthdays are assigned, so that's a 10, I think 2 weeks timeline, something like that. So you can keep that in mind as well.
Awesome. Let's go ahead. What is the role of communication skills and commercial awareness in the interview? Aditi, would you want to take that up?
I'm sorry, my internet is breaking a bit. Can you guys take this up? I'll just rejoin.
Sure, sure. So I'll just start and Tushar, you can pitch in, right? So communication skills and commercial awareness. Okay, coming to communication skills, see, anything basically has to be client friendly. What is client friendly? Anything, uh, as in at the end of the day, you will be working as a consultant, and your clients will be CEOs of top industries, right? And so whatever solution you bring to them, you need to communicate it very effectively, and it should be structured communication. It can't be haywire. It should follow a process. People should be able to visualize what you are saying, right? And so think it through and then speak. And usually, consultants like to follow a 3 point rule. That is, whatever they say has to be in points of three, which is the most effective. Um, Coming to commercial awareness, You are not expected to have a lot of commercial awareness. That is, you're not expected to know various industries and their jargons. So, even in the interview, say you're given a case of a chemical industry and you don't know the jargons, you can very well ask the interviewer what each term means. Very well and good if you already know what it means, but then do make sure that you get it verified from the interviewer that it is what you're thinking it is. A lot of the times you may solve the entire case thinking sales to be something else, whereas the interviewer may mean sales to be something else. So in terms of commercial awareness, no, you're not expected to know things, but it comes with an added bonus if you do. And as mentioned for the CV point, please don't throw jargons. That is not at all impressive. Uh, Tushar, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, so as you stressed out on not knowing commercial awareness is very well fine, right? You don't really need to have it. It's always an added bonus. And also the thing is that when you practice, no, you'll build some like I like to call commercial awareness as business acumen, right? So you'll build that business acumen as you practice cases. What you really need for the interview process, that you'll get to know. So don't really worry about that. But apart from business acumen, what you need is some business sense, like common logic, right? For example, if you're already tight on budget and there is some scenario going on, you're already tight on budget, but you're also losing sales, you can't really recommend to increase marketing spend, right? So if one of your recommendation is that, then it's from business logic point of view, it's really wrong. So it just conveys this meaning that you don't really understand how businesses work. So just having that common sense will get you through. That's it.
Totally. And either of these, communication and the awareness, they don't come overnight. It is an acquired skill. So if you want to build business acumen, you can very well. You can read news articles, you can read business cases, you can subscribe to The Ken, you can read FinShots every day. And every case you do is tied up to some industry. So after solving that case, read up more about that industry. I highly recommend building a dedicated cost and revenue structure for each industry that you solve for. And communication, uh, articulation is important, but at the same time, presentation is also important. So make sure the entire time you're very polite and friendly, as if you are actually talking to your client. Moving ahead, any suggestions for interview and other helpful fun day?
Aditya.
Tush-
Okay, I'll start.
Yeah.
So, one thing that, from my experience, one thing that definitely helped me was focusing and getting the frameworks right. Right. So, what I did was I built I had all the frameworks, learned by heart, you can say. I had every scenario thought out. Like basically what I did was I if what I used to do was I used to take a piece of blank paper and I used to write frameworks from top to bottom for every scenario, branching it out, right? So that process really helped me understand the frameworks, and applying frameworks, that process of applying that frameworks. And it also helped me improve my structured thinking. I could like at the end of after doing this activity multiple times, I could really navigate those frameworks and communicate it in such a way so that in during online mode, the person sitting across miles away can also navigate the same framework as I wanted him to, right? So that is really important, especially if your interviews are offline, since you're not able to use a piece of paper to sort of tell him or convey him your frameworks and all like very properly. It really all depends on your communication skills, right? So yeah, do practice that you're able to convey and help him navigate, your interviewer navigate your frameworks.
Totally. Aditya, anything?
Yeah, so I think Tushar put it up very well. I'll just add a few points. Once you have the frameworks by heart, it's very helpful in your profitability and market entry cases, especially. With respect to guesstimates, at the end of CIC, there's a data points. I think it's slightly old. You can just adjust it for 4 5 years later, but those are very helpful for your guesstimates as well. uh, you know Overall in an interview, so I think we can divide the interview into three different parts. One is your case solving, one would be of fit questions, and any other discussion that you will have with the your interviewer. So for your case solving, I think Tushar covered it well. But the key takeaway point is be structured in whatever you're doing. Like it won't be necessarily the case may not necessarily fall in the same brackets. Just we said, I think one of my cases was something related to investment, but that doesn't mean that since a different case you'll just directly jump on to answers. So whatever the case is, always be structured in your approach. That's very important as a key takeaway that you should always have in mind whenever solving a case interview. When it comes to fit questions, always be prepared before the interviews itself. The basic questions like why consulting, uh, why this particular company, what are your stance, tell me about scenario when you handle conflict. Very specific questions. You can find it in the drive link or in the that website I got an offer.com. So this is the fit questions. And then you have a last part of the interview where it's where you're generally asked if you have any question for us. That is a very important part of the interview. A lot of people ignore it, but that is kind of a question that can make or break your interview. So if you have a very good discussion with a with an interviewer there, you can come, let's say you went to the website a day before, came up with very good questions, and then ask your interviews. You can always, if they ever have a doubt whether I should take this person or not, with that particular question you can always change it into your favor. So, these are three main parts you should always focus and, keep in mind for an interview. Eknoor or Tushar, if you want to add something.
No, no. Pressing on Aditya's point, take that last question that you ask as your opportunity to, convert it into your favor. And as like basically, see, the thing is that someone who is a partner at top three consulting firms is not your everyday Harry or Joe that you'll meet, that you can meet and talk to anytime. So if you really are interested into business, and if you really have some interesting question to ask, which partner or some manager level person will have good insights into, or someone from the industry will have good insights into, do ask it, please, please.
Those were really, really important points, guys. I hope you're taking a note of all of this. This is some alag level gyan. Uh, uh, and adding on to what Tushar and Aditya said, please don't ask questions like, how is your day? How are you liking McKinsey? How are you liking Bing? Please don't do that, okay? Actually put an effort into going through their LinkedIn if there is, or going through their area of research or their area of focus, and then asking targeted questions. You can also ask personal questions, but this you will have to gauge from sort of how the interviewer is going, right? And how open the interviewer is. Apart from this, I would like to add three more things. First of all, going back to frameworks, please make your own framework. At the beginning, you will be served a framework on a platter. There are really good frameworks in day 1.0. Then I think everybody follows this one set of notes that Harsh Sharaf once made, and it's being passed on since years, and everybody uses that. Good, that is a good place to start with. But by the end of your prep, you should have your own frameworks, and if you don't, that means you have a long way to go. Okay, second would be review your cases. This is like so important, and so many people overlook this. I would any day suggest quality over quantity. So I'm sure you have a log wherein you're counting the number of cases each day, 40, 50. All of that is useless if you're not reviewing your cases. And how to review your cases? You can't be like going through your notes just after the case, spending just 5 minutes. That's not reviewing. Any sane person, anyone seriously prepping for consulting, needs to spend at least 45 minutes per case to review that case. Mark my words. And how should the review process be? You did your interview with your mock interviewer. That interviewer will give you certain inputs, right? So now you have the case that you solved and you have the interviewer's inputs. Take all of that together and then try to solve the case again with the entire framework listed down again. This is step one. Step two, the book that you referred to for the case. Now have a look at the solution in the given book. So now what you have is your own solution from the case, your interviewer's inputs, and the solution in the book, right? Knowing all of this, review your case again. And then the step three is to go and change your framework, customize the framework, make some tweaks in the framework so that the next time you solve this case or you solve this industry, your framework is is enough for the case, and you don't really have to do last minute thinking, last minute brainstorming to solve the very case. At the end of the day, you should have a framework that should be able to solve each and every case thrown at you, and that is how you make your own framework. With each case there is going to be some tweaking, some customization of your framework. And the third point is very important: diversify in terms of whom you're prepping with. Of course, first you will start with your small case group of 4 people ideally. But after you've done say 20, 30 case interviews, I would say diversify in terms of case groups, go and do cases with other groups. Also diversify in terms of colleges. It is really, it will be lovely if you actually get hold of people from other IITs, Bombay, Madras, Delhi, Kanpur, whosoever, and then you try solving cases with them. And then the next level is to get a hold of alumni who've already sit through this interview process and then solve cases with them. So diversify. These were 3 inputs from my side.
Yeah,
Anything else, guys? Yeah.
stressing on the quality, quality versus quantity, part. Once again, please focus on quality of your cases. Go through your cases once again, review your mistakes, and try that you never repeat your mistake again, right? Refine your frameworks. See, I had my own frameworks. I made all my own frameworks, and I'll tell you for a fact that my whole preparation for consulting that got me into Bain consisted of just 15 cases, right? So focus on quality.
That
Now
was
you
really
have a live
interesting and
example here.
insightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
Anything to add,
anyway, don't
Aditya?
chase after number of cases. I've
Yeah,
seen people doing 2 3 cases a day and reviewing none. They leave all these cases to the end of the week and they leave the weekend for, yeah, I'll review the cases. Guys, that's not how you do it. You have to review the cases the day you solve them, because that is when the all the crucial information that you probably missed out on while solving the case will come back to you.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
actually, I'd like to
re-
stress on the review part as well. So, whenever you're maintaining a book now, you should always solve cases on the right side of the page, and the left side of the page should always be your for reviewing. So, let's say 1 or 2 days before the interview, you can just go through whatever mistake you have made. So, one like Ignore mentioned that you create a new framework after the review, but you should always mention the points that you make a mistake. I mean, write things like मैं गधा हूँ जो ये miss कर गया. So you should write things like that and then circle that so that like a couple of days before the interview, you can always see that and be reminded that you don't make the same mistake. So that's very, very important. Number of cases just doesn't matter.
Thank you, Aditya, for bringing that up. So, guys, you should have a proper log. Okay, एक तो
Yeah.
जहाँ पे you do the case, you write the reviews. Apart from that, you should have a log, which you can maintain in your diary or an Excel sheet. Serial number, then case name, the book from which the case was referred to, then the industry that the case caters to, the type of case, that is marketability, market entry, profitability, etc. And then what do you learn? What were your errors? So these errors could be the reviews from the interviewer, and then after the 45-minute review that I told you about, what other inputs do you have for yourself? And this is a really important log because 2 days before the day zero, you won't have the time to go through all your cases, but you can find the time to go through all those logs. So do that is a really good practice, and I hope everybody is maintaining a log.
It's
So
time
we
to take up some questions from the audience. So audience, if you have any questions, you can chat in the you can post in the chat box, or you can raise hands so that we can unmute you.
Hello.
Hi, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello. Am I audible right now?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good evening. I am currently doing my master's in material science engineering from IIT Kharagpur. So the thing is that means before this seminar, I was preparing for the data science profile, and and the thing is that in my CV I have some entrepreneurial experience. So also I have been put in my CV also. So, is there any chance of selecting my CV, which is slightly towards the data science, all the skill certificates? But the thing is that two or three peak points, one or two peak points are there. So, I mean, is there any chance, according to your experience or not? I want to like ask this. And apart from that, please share the guide link as the panelists are telling after the session. That's all.
So Rajarshi,
Uh,
you're doing your MSc, right?
No. I am doing my MTech in material science
MTech.
engineering.
Uh, Rajashri, I, so I'm not sure if the firms that we're talking about or representing here come for MTech hires. So before we answer any of your questions, I think it is very crucial for you to find that out, because then, you know, if you're prepping and um, you find out at a very later stage that these firms don't even come for MTech hires, it'll be really sad. Um, Guys, do you know if Bain hires MTech folks?
I
uh,
haven't really seen anyone coming from
yeah.
MT.
I'm also not very sure about it. I think I saw in someone's PPT, not Bain PPT, I think ADL or someone, that MTechs were not there. But I'm not sure how things pan out. I think you should talk to a placecom, or maybe sit for whenever the PPTs happen, ask this question there itself. But just get this information first. Uh, Coming to the question, I think whenever you're thinking whether your resume will get shortlisted or not, it's all a very relative process. There isn't key. You did entrepreneurship or you did this, so your resume will get shortlisted. So it's not a tick mark kind of a thing. Uh, you know, Interviews or whoever is shortlisting the resume, he will see at all the resume and overall profiles, and then based on a relative grading or something, and then he'll decide which one to shortlist. So can't really say on that key, whether it will get shortlist or not.
Yeah, this process is relative. You can hear, you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this process is relative because the interview process includes a buddy process in it, right? So they don't really have the bandwidth to allot buddies to everyone, and that's why they'll usually select a limit. They have a number in mind as to how many people to shortlist for the interviews, and then how many people to take. Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, I don't have much to add to the previous question. Um, we're up for other questions if there are any.
Uh, let's wait for a couple of minutes to see anyone is asking anything. Otherwise, we will go ahead.
Sure.
Cool. Guys, please don't feel shy. No question is a stupid question. And I mean, to make the most of this opportunity. We have Sachin.
We in our previous boot camps have asked n number of questions and anything that comes
Yeah.
to our mind. So we can also do that.
Yeah. Can we have Sachin be unmuted, Shivam?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My question is regarding the aptitude test. Is there any, like you are talking about direct the CV shortlisting kind of thing? So my question is related to that aptitude test kind of
Thank you, Sachin. Thank you so
criteria.
much for bringing it up. Yeah, we completely missed that. Uh, Not sure of other companies, but McKinsey does have this test. Um, I think it comes after the shortlist. I'm not sure. I don't remember, to be honest. And it's like a gamified test. So there are two parts to it. Both of them are sort of like simulations. And how to do that, how to conduct that test. There are lots of videos on YouTube teaching you, how to approach both the games. So just watch those videos. Apart from that, it is not something very crucial. That test is to basically gauge what are your strengths and your weaknesses. So in terms of problem solving, if the test sort of gauges that probably your quantitative side is weak, then the questions asked to you during the interview would be more quant heavy. And I mean, it's not absolutely necessary to do stellar on the test, but to get a gist of it, there are plenty of YouTube videos teaching you on how to approach the test. So nothing to worry about.
And
Thank
yeah,
you.
when it comes to Bain, I think we don't have any aptitude test as such. But you I guess so. During the interviews, your case interviews are all data driven. So being good with numbers is actually important. But it's not like you will be solving some prop stat questions. So it's not like that.
Uh, for one another question I am having, but
Yeah.
like I am pursuing like MTech in ocean engineering.
Yeah.
But after my BTech, I am having with like 5 years teaching experience. So it will be valuable or something like worthless,
Right.
or it will be negative, something. So kind of thing. I want to get an idea.
Right. So it definitely won't be negative. So I think as we covered in case of Rajshri, first you'll have to make sure कि whether consulting firms come for MTechs or not. That's the first crucial thing you should find out before starting your preparation. Uh, and
Actually,
yeah, anything in your
sorry,
experience, it will never be negative for you.
sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah, I was
but
just saying first you'll have to find. Sorry.
sorry to
Yes,
interrupt you,
Sachin, go
but
ahead.
yeah, actually,
Yeah, yeah.
our seniors are placed in ZS Associates, and this is the consulting firm. So I
Okay.
don't think MTech guys are not allowed.
All right. So Eknoor and Tushar correct me, but I think ZS comes for a data profile, na?
Yeah, it's basically analyst profile, I think. I'm not also sure.
So, Sachin, since we never prepped for ZS, we don't exactly know what the process is for them. So, everything we said, please take it with a pinch of salt. The
Yeah.
process might be very different, and I'd highly recommend you to reach out to people who've actually prepped and got through ZS process.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So like this section is especially for people preparing for the MBBs. Like here in our scenario, it's McKinsey, Bain, ADL, and what more?
Kepler, Kepler,
Kepler,
LEK,
LEK,
Kepler, LEK, Dalberg.
Dalberg,
Dalberg,
I think if Axela comes, advisors in there.
Octus, probably Octus
Octus.
also.
Yes.
Octus advisors, sorry, yeah. Praxis Global as well.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
for these
you get the
companies,
gist.
like this session will be like this things said in this session will be more relevant.
I think EY also comes with a consulting profile. No?
It
Last year
used
they
to. I
did.
don't think it does
So I
anymore.
think it used to come for an EY Parthenon. Last year, I think it came for EY something was there for management consulting, as far as I remember.
Cool. I'm really surprised none of the undergraduates have any questions.
I'm getting one question to ask.
Yeah.
Can entrepreneurship experience be considered as a spike in the CV?
Definitely. So it depends on what kind of entrepreneurial experience you had. It could be so you could actually make a section of your own within the CV. You don't really have to follow the traditional formats that people follow. You can actually take things that stand out in your profile and make a peak for yourself. So you could have an entrepreneurship section wherein probably could mention your competitions if you took part in any. Then you could mention if you actually had a startup of your own, what sort of traction that startup achieved, if it, if you actually asked for funding, you received funding, if you were part of any global accelerator program, if you were part of eCell on top of that, that would be stellar.
So, Eknor, I think you had a similar point in your CV, right?
I did not. So what
Okay.
I did instead was, so my POR section was not very strong. I only had students alumni cell POR, which is a good POR, but apparently, probably a GSEC Gymkhana or a PlaceCom POR is even more prestigious. So what I did was, instead I had a lot of business competitions and good business competitions in which my teams had done really well. So what I did was I made an entire section for business competition instead of mentioning them in my co-curriculars as I had observed in the traditional CVs. And so I had created a peak for myself, and so can you. So don't, shut your mind and just follow the existing formats of CVs. Be creative and communicate your own achievements in the best way possible.
Yeah, guys, no questions. Because what I felt was that this seminar, the order of the questions was not really well
Uh,
organized. So,
Saurav
we
is
like,
asking that if someone has two good internships, will it be accounted as a single spike, right?
So
uh,
yeah, so it's not like a number of spikes kind of a thing. It's so Ignore as mentioned before, so it's a spike in one particular section. So your internship will be a spike. It won't be like two different very good internships. It's like two spikes. So not exactly like that. So it's an overall performance, overall profile. So whoever is viewing your profile, he has to get a sense that this person is very good. Whatever he does, he excels in that. And if we get him on board, he'll learn things quickly and he'll be able to do a good job. So you have to give that sense to him. And no, there could be different ways of doing it. It's not like you're counting the number of spikes like ye teen achhi cheezein hai, so I'm done. So it's not exactly like that. uh I think you get the sense of what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Anything
and good
Tushar, you want to
internship
add?
is also very vague. Okay, so what is a good internship? See, if you are going for a corporate profile, or it's something that you worked on in your previous internships, then you're expected to have day one, day two internships. Okay, but this is not written in brick, so brick and cement. So it's okay. You can make up for it even if there is no good day one, day two internship. Second, it could be a startup funded by the top VCs, say a startup funded by YC or a Sequoia. Okay, it could be any role, any impact making role in those startups. Then if you are research oriented, it could be an internship. Foreign trainings stand out really well in one of us any of the top foreign universities. Okay, and it's not as simple as just bagging any other foreign internship. And I mean, the university name counts. So please make sure whatever you're labeling as good internships is good and it aligns with what the firms consider good.
what
Yeah.
they are essentially looking for is credibility, right? So anything that gives you credibility to be an excellent, that you are an excellent individual will add value to your CV. Anything that does not like provide that credibility will not really add that much value to your CV.
Yeah,
Uh,
so just let me add a point to what Eknu said. So let's say you don't have a day one, day two internship and you have an internship at a startup. How can you help, make it stand out? You can always, ask, you should always ask for letter of recommendations from it, whoever is the highest in that particular company, from big industry experts. They also help you get the sense कि you stand out because this particular person wrote a letter of appreciation for you. So you should always ask for them as well, whether in a research internship or any other non-day one day two companies. Even PPOs, PPOs show that you did a very good job, so that is why they're calling you back. And then there's also this also kinds of acts as a spike.
Aditya, can you clarify for them, how to use that letter of recommendation and where to put it?
So what I generally did was, in one particular point, so whenever I mentioned the my internship, below that in italics, I mentioned uh, from whom did I get a letter of recommendation, and what is he. So let's say he's a head of this, and I got a letter of appreciation for working on this. So in one single line, I wanted it to stand out from the other point, so I wrote it in italic, differently. But up to you.
Did you also attach like a link to that
So I did.
recommendation?
So when you submit, you can only give your resume itself. But if they ask for it, you can always give it later. But yeah, you don't have to attach anything.
So, any other questions, guys?
Thanks, Aditya. Thanks, Tushar. We have one more question here. Tarun is asking, some MTech seniors placed in PwC and EY last year. Can you tell something about that?
Okay.
Sorry,
I have
most
no
like
knowledge
all
of
of us
this.
are from
I
BTech
I can
background, man.
give you you can ping me. I'll just give you the name of the friends who are placed in EY. I also have a friend who's placed in ZS, so they can probably help you out. But I didn't ask them. I don't know what the interview process was, but I do have friends there. So if you can ping me, I'll just give you their numbers.
I guess we're over time and short of questions.
Yeah,
um,
so let's just
so
end it here.
should we just wrap it up?
Kindly send the link.
He's
Sorry.
asking for link. Yeah,
That's a
we'll we'll
drive link,
we'll
no?
do it.
I think I'll share with someone. I share it to someone in Communiqué, and then they can share it from their page. Or if you want it, you can also ping us. Anything works. Maybe let me see if I have it right now. I'll put it in the chat. FAT I'll share it later. Yeah, खोजना पड़ेगा थोड़ा.
Cool. So we'll share all the links we have and resources with Communicate folks, and hopefully those will be shared further. Um, I will have to run off now. I have some other commitment. So, guys, hopefully this was a good and insightful session for you. For any additional questions, we're always, I mean, we're there on Messenger. You can search us up and ask us personally. Or probably, if Communique could set up sort of like form, Google form, if you have any additional questions, and then we could probably answer them and send it through Communicate to you. Uh, I guess that's it. Shivam, anything else?
Thank you, Eknoor, for the suggestion. We would also like to thank all the panelists for giving us their precious time and sharing their valuable insights with us. It was really an honor having you all here and that you were able to give out some time for us. We would also like to thank the audience for being so patient and active during the panel discussion. That's it from our side. I hope the seminar proves to be helpful for all of us. Please join us tomorrow again for the product profile. Till then, have a good day and thank you.